ideas for a piece of electronic equipment, not quite like this. In this case, the composer, we're going to be able to feed in drawn symbols straight into the equipment, and out will come the sounds. I begin with a drawn pattern.
This would be drawn on a piece of clear film about 4 inches in width and would be placed in the front of a cathode ray tube which just had a single bright spot at one side of it. When you selected a particular frequency that you wanted to play, the spot would then start flying across the screen at that particular frequency.
I then can also change the pitch in analog fashion by drawing in on a 35mm film a waving line which goes up or down the film for pitch change and can waver very slightly for giving vibrato.
You draw a little wobbly line on the film that would control the speed at which the scanner scanned, thus altering the frequency and giving us some vibrato.
Художник воинов в числе немногих занимается разрешением проблемы искусственного звука. Он делает звуки из простой бумаги. Весь бумажный оркестр переезжает на мультипликационный станок. Справа рисованные герои, слева рисованный звук.
You can even create your own sounds by drawing directly on the film. Norman McLaren, the motion picture artist, has been making some hand-drawn sounds, and now he's going to hear them for the first time, played on the moviola, a sort of miniature movie projector. It's not just guesswork. The sound of any of these patterns of lines can be calculated.
I made a film without a camera where the soundtrack is exactly the image and the image is exactly the soundtrack. That relationship between an image and a sound, instead of being maybe added later, maybe dubbed, was actually sync from the moment it was made, exactly. So what you see is what you hear.
I'm going to show this photoelectric effect in a very elementary way. Here is an arc lamp as a source of light. And here in front of it is a lens. And this beam of light is going to shine on a piece of metal here that is zinc. Zinc is the 30th element in the periodic table. And this metal is mounted on an electrometer. Here's that zinc plate and the electrometer negatively with this rubber rod. I'll put the charge on until it's clear to the top. A full charge. Now I'm going to turn on the arc lamp and you watch the needle of the electrometer. You can see the light shining on the zinc metal surface. And the needle falls. And rather rapidly too. Well, now what happens is, of course, is the ultraviolet light comes in, hits the surface and kicks off these electrons. And these electrons are called photoelectrons. They're no different from any other electrons. They're called photoelectrons only to distinguish the way in which they are liberated from the metal surface. Now here is our little turntable, and the wire connecting over to this little plug input on this little amplifier. Now right here is our little neon glow lamp, and it's glowing with a steady light. But when I start the record player going, the light intensity here will rise and fall. Now the light from this little source comes out here through this lens and becomes a parallel beam. And this beam of light travels across the tabletop here to another lens. And here this beam of parallel light then comes to focus on this photoelectric cell.
optical chopper, model HO5D-OC01, is a mechanical device designed to meet a wide range of operational needs across its frequency range of 10 Hz to 4 kHz. Users can easily replace the discs based on frequency requirements, with additional accessories available to extend functionality.
This is the Motor Synth Mark II.
You've just got to play one for yourself. Right?
Right.
Are you tired of the same old instruments, the same old sounds? You need that extra something to bring your act to the recording studio or classroom fast forward into the 21st century.
That sounds like one of those